Let's look at the manifesto for Agile software development. It says, we are uncovering better ways for developing software by doing it ourselves and helping others. Through this work, we have come to value individuals and interactions over processes and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, responding to change over following a plan. One of the things that I want to highlight in the first part of the manifesto is uncovering better ways. If you think about that statement, what does that mean to you? To me, uncovering better ways means learning. Learning as an organization on how to be better at developing software. So let's look at the manifesto items. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. What do they mean to you? Individuals and interactions simply means to me that we value people. We value people and we value interactions among people when they're developing software, and this can be in the team level. And also, we value people interacting with the business folks. It's important for team members who are building the software to interact with the stakeholders or somebody who is giving them what needs to be done. But at the same time, it's important that there's enough interactions between the team members or multiple teams that are building this piece of software. And what we're saying is, it's not that we don't value processes and tools. Yes, they're important. But given a situation, if we say we want to be agile, we are going to value the people and the interaction more. So to me, this statement means we value more face-to-face communication or communication over a quick phone call versus emails and creating a ticket that takes a lot of time and creates a lot of confusion. Not to say that we cannot email or we cannot create and we don't value any processes. Another thing that I can think about is estimating. Whenever it comes to estimating the work from a development team perspective, sometimes team members get hung up on how big this item is. And when we come to that situation, we are going to value the interaction among the team members and talking through what are the complexities of this work and why do we think this is so complicated. So we're going to value that interaction more than the actual story point or how big the story is. The second value of the Agile Manifesto is working software over comprehensive documentation. It doesn't mean that we don't need to have a documentation. In fact, it can be super frustrating if there's no documentation, and it can be really hard for the developers or customers to kind of navigate through the software. However, a key thing that you want to pay attention to in this value is comprehensive. Let's not spend a lot of time just writing documents because the main deliverable is the software. Even when you're thinking from a capturing business requirements perspective, one of the main things that comes out of gathering requirements is the shared understanding. What this principle says is you could create the shared understanding by actually just having more conversation among the team members and with the stakeholders and potentially even the customers. And one way you can accomplish this shared understanding of the software is by creating small increments of software and putting it in the hands of the internal stakeholders or the customer so that you can gain feedback from them on what they exactly want out of the software. Again, if you go back to the first line of the Agile Manifesto, it is about uncovering better ways, which means learning better ways. So the emphasis here is for teams to learn. One of the ways that you can learn is by failing faster. So when you create small increments of software and you put it in the hands of customer, without focusing too much on creating a huge piece of documentation, this actually allows teams to create something really fast and learn fast. So in conclusion, we want to create more working software, we want to learn faster, and we want to create shared understanding. And yes, the documentation is important, but let's just not go all crazy on documents. The third value of the Agile Manifesto is customer collaboration over contract negotiation. The key thing that you want to keep in mind in this value is customer collaboration. We want to collaborate with our customer because we want to delight our customer, because we want them to come back to us and rely in our expertise for developing software. However, we want to change the way that we write our contracts or agreements. In the past, most of the times, most of these contracts are written based on business requirements or functional requirement documents, which throughout the course of the project, it is so hard to predict, and usually these requirements change. And there goes the contract, where now as a development team, we have to kind of go based on the contract, and the client will actually have us execute on the contract, which it's a lose-lose situation. Versus what we are suggesting is have a contract in a way where we're keeping customer success in our mind. It's actually not fair for development teams to ask for all the requirements from the customer or the client in day one. They're coming to you in the first place for help because they want this piece of software to be built by you. So rather than putting them into a strong contract, we want to collaborate with them and help them understand what they need in the software so that they can really delight their customer. So this principle is saying that instead of having a strict contract up front, collaboration is the key. Work with the customer or the client throughout the project, and you want to create a win-win situation where if your customer or your client wins, then you win. The last value of the manifesto is responding to change over following a plan. This value just means that having a plan is very important. It's almost silly not to have a plan. In software development, we have all kinds of plannings. However, less value on being ready and being able to respond to the changes if they actually happen. Traditionally, when we are planning for projects, what we are saying is if the conditions of the universe didn't change between now and the moment, what kind of things would we do in order to accomplish this project? And we write those things down and we talk about it and we document it, and we can actually throw that piece of plan away. Because most likely, if you're developing a complex piece of software, something will change and then the plan will not be useful. So planning is very important. We need some kind of plan, but we need to be able to respond to change as they happen in a complex environment. So think about any kind of hurricane that actually happens around the world. There was one that happened here in the United States, was called Maria, and the mayor came to the TV and said, we're gonna do this, 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 and this is our plan, this is how we're getting ready. However, he said that all this is important. However, when the hurricane actually comes, we want to be able to respond to the hurricane versus just following a plan that we had. And he said another quote by Mike Tyson, everybody has a plan until they get punched on their face. So we can have all kind of nice plans set up, but it's important to respond to the change over just follow and stick to the plan if something has actually changed. So these are the 4 values of Agile for you. You want to really think about how can you apply these values and be agile in your team or an organization, because it's a mindset. It's about an agreement that you can form within the company, and people can really think about these values when they are making decisions in their day-to-day lives in software development environments.